You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What's up, guys? How you been? I'm cool. This is Studio MacGyver, and you're listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Just got finished watching episode 96, and man, I got a lot to say about that episode, guys. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Basically, the episode starts off with the tournament on the cusp of starting. So everybody's basically getting ready to show up to the tournament. And before they do, Beerus and Whis are telling everybody that they must join hands. That's the only way they would be able to transport to the tournament. And Frieza is left without anybody to hold his other hand, and then he looks over and sees Vegeta, and Vegeta's like, yo, I'm not holding that guy's hand. I'm not doing it. So, Beerus jumps in and grabs Frieza's hand, and then Vegeta goes in and grabs Beerus's hand. You can see the animosity, you can see the tension between Vegeta and Frieza, and it's very, very funny. But on another note, oh man, I thought there was going to be an incident or something was going to happen where Yamcha ended up joining the squad or something. I was just waiting for something to happen because they were kind of hinting at it all the way up until this point that, Yamcha was waiting to get called and to the tournament or whatnot. And I just thought something would happen, but evidently not. So Yamcha's a spectator. That seems to be his fate. So be it. Sorry to all the Yamcha fans out there. I mean, it is what it is. But on another note, like I said, there's one character that has finally got my attention. He actually has had my attention for quite some time. I guess partly because of the mystery behind him. And, I just thought he was a cool looking character. You know what I mean? But man, this guy looks to be a beast, man. And I'm talking about Jiren. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce his name. It's spelled Jiren. He's been referenced throughout Super as of late as Universe 11's, top dog. And deservingly so by what transpired in this episode. I mean, he actually had Goku shook for a few minutes. I guess Goku, like I said, all the universes were arriving at the tournament, and they were, had their own little groups. Everybody was sitting around watching, and Goku goes over to try to greet some of the fighters. He goes over to Khalifa. She's not having it. She slaps his hand away. He's just intrigued by her being a female Saiyan. And, not really seeing one full-blooded. So, you know how Goku is, man. He's just happy-go-lucky, whatever. Then he goes over to Universe 11, where your boy Jiren is over there chilling, and Toppo and all his gang. And he tries to extend some kind of, I don't know, handshake or whatever you want to call it. And next thing you know, you hear Jiren tell him to get lost. And before Goku could say anything else, Jiren was right behind him. And I just got a feeling about this guy, man. I think he's going to be something incredible. He's already my favorite character in Dragon Ball Super. up to this point. There it wasn't anybody who, a lot of people, Goku Black and, what I'm saying, Zamasu and all these guys. I mean, they were cool. Don't get me wrong, whatever. But there was nobody to just grab me. You know what I mean? As far as uniqueness and mystery, um, and just who looked cool to me or whatever. You know what I mean? And this guy Jiren is that guy. Like I said, you see him featured on Dragon Ball Super in the intro, fighting Goku. I can't wait to see him and Goku go at it. I can't wait to see what he does, his techniques, how he fights, what's going to happen. I mean, I haven't seen Goku shook like that in quite some time. So yeah, this guy is about that life. And Topo himself, I mean, had me kind of like, yo, dude's got some hands. He's holding his own, in his own right. And for him to, what got me curious is when he was talking about there's somebody stronger than him. You know what I mean? And he was talking about Jiren. And I was like, what? These dudes is for real. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen, man. Even after the tournament is over, what's going to happen? Because keep in mind, these guys, Topo and Jiren and them, they represent, they're heroes. They represent the good. And for some reason, they're blaming Goku for, they're blaming Goku for having to participate in this tournament in the first place. So they look at Goku as, an evil person. They look at him as not good, in other words. So even though that is the furthest thing from reality, you know what I'm saying, that you could even think about Goku being, you know what I mean? But that's what they think right now. So, when it comes to evildoers, they're all against that. So who knows? Maybe something happens down the line and they become tight, or I don't know. Who knows, man? But I just have a feeling about this guy Jiren, and I think he's going to be that next guy, that next character to, as far as popularity is concerned. I think he's going to be that next guy, the up and coming. Because then you had Zamasu, you had Hit. Those are, I think, the two top characters, and then maybe even some future Trunks, Dragon Ball Super version, if you will. Those three right there, are the most popular, if you ask me right now. From me just, being on the web and listening to other people, and all those type of things. But I think this guy's next up, and I'm going to go ahead and solidify him as my favorite Dragon Ball Super character as of right now, and can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Basically, that was the episode. I mean, there were some other things that was going on in this, I guess, prequel to the tournament, if you will. Basically, everybody kind of just trying to fill each other out and get a game plan together, on what they were going to do in the tournament. They're basically trying to say, hey, we need to stick together, and try to not get separated and try to do the one-on-one type of thing. Even though, Goku and Vegeta, they're on some other shit right now. They feel that they can, they can defy that, and they can kind of go off and do their thing because, like I said, they're Saiyans by nature. And, Saiyans always love fighting, and, they don't give a damn about anybody else when that type of stuff starts. So we'll see what happens. Somebody's going to make a mistake. Something's going to happen. But we shall see. It's going to be very interesting. I'm already looking forward to what's going to happen after the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, what's the next arc going to be? I'm already thinking about that. And there could be all kinds of scenarios drawn up, because even in this episode, you also had Frieza basically witnessing and won his own, which is Frost. And they got to talking a little bit and trying to form some sort of cadence or some sort of bond. You can't trust that race. I mean, you just can't trust the Frieza race. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Frieza is one of my favorite characters all time, because he's just evil, man, to the core. I mean, He's never going to change. I mean, he's just not going to change. You cannot trust a Frieza race, and Frost is the same way. I mean, he's sneaky, he's conniving, he's a he's a backstabber. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. They're talking about maybe whispers of joining forces and trying to do some things, because I think Frieza, in my personal opinion, I think Frieza is got some shit up his sleeve to where, since this is a battle royal and everybody's fighting and a lot of people are, their attention is not going to be, on him. He's going to use that to his advantage and try to take out, in my opinion, Goku and Vegeta. Those, he hates them with all his might. Vegeta betrayed him, but Goku, he humiliated him. So I think he's going to try to do what he can to do some backstabbing, if you will, and cause Universe 7 some pain. But we shall see, because he's part of Universe 7, and I don't know what's going on. Toriyama, he's got me shook right now. I don't know what direction he's going, but it's fun. It's definitely fun to watch, and I cannot wait for the next episode, because the tournament officially starts, okay? And then that's when the shit hits the fan. So, with that being said, that is your episode 96 of Dragon Ball Super in a nutshell. Let's talk about something else real quick. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Now, Dragon Ball Fighter Z has confirmed one more character to the roster, guys, and that is Future Trunks. That's right. There was an image leak. I forgot what country it was from, but there was a photo of Future Trunks doing one of his ultimates, and they had to confirm it. So now we have 7 confirmed characters who are going to be on the roster. Now, there's another character that I can semi-confirm, and I only say that because I know a couple people, and they have told me, I cannot, of course, name them, but they have told me that Tien Shinhan is going to make that roster. And after, I was told this a few days later, I just did some snooping around the internet and, ran up on the actual transcripts of an interview that somebody was giving the producers of Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and they were talking about, their favorite characters. And one of the producers, actually the guy who was actually doing the interview, stated that Tien was one of his favorite characters. And then the producer said that Tien was also one of her favorite characters besides Gohan. And he asked her if Tien was going to make the cut, and not as a support character, but as a fully playable character. And she starts laughing, and then she says, all I can tell you is that, Tien Shinhan is one of my favorite characters as well, and we'll leave it at that. Okay, so it should be interesting. I can't wait to see who's going to be on the roster, man. But there are a couple characters that I would absolutely love to see on the roster, which probably won't make the cut, but I'm going to name them anyway. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. Now, the characters I would like to see on this game, there's a slight chance that one of them might make it, and one of those characters is Master Roshi. Yes, Master Roshi hasn't been in the game in quite some time. The last game I remember him being in, and I could be wrong, but the last one I remember him being in is Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That's the one I remember. But yeah, it's been a while, and now that Super has come around, he is being implemented back into the series. He's getting some more light shined on him, and he's learned some things apparently. He can at least hold his own against the base form Goku. So I don't know, man. He's just an interesting character. I think he'd be cool. Even if he had his transformation, his power up where he buffed up and everything. I think that'd be dope. Another character that I would love to see, but that I know he's not going to be on the roster though, but I would love if he was. It's one of my top 5 characters. He's number 4, right after my top 3, and he is Mercenary Tao, aka Tao Pai Pai. Yeah, that guy right there, man. The man in pink, if you will. If you don't know about this guy, man, you need to Google him. He was part of the Dragon Ball universe. Early stages when Goku was a kid. He was basically like the first villain in Dragon Ball history. He was like the very first major villain. The first guy, man. And he was so dope, so cool. He was an assassin, a mercenary. He was also responsible for Tien's scar on his chest. He's basically the brother of Tien's master before Master Roshi became his master. And Tien, they were training him to be an assassin, is what they were doing. But yeah, dude had some dope ass abilities, man. He could not fly, but he technically could fly, but he couldn't. He didn't fly with ki. He usually flew on a log, and by a log I meant like a fucking tree log. He'd basically find a tree, and he would basically cut it from the ground and form it into a log, and then he would throw it in the air and then jump on it and land on it, and then it would take him to his destination. So I mean, it was just fucking crazy, man. He was just so interesting, and he was strong in his own right. He was a very strong fighter, and he could gather ki. He could do certain things. He killed somebody with his tongue. Okay, I was sold when I saw that. When he killed a man by hitting him in the temple with his tongue, I was like, yo, that's it. He's one of my favorites. That's it. And then he wears pink, and then on the back of his gi, it says "kill you" on the back. Priceless. But anyway, that would be somebody I would love to see on that game. But like I said, he's not probably going to be there on that roster. I think they're going to take the Dragon Ball Z roster, and they're going to implement most of the characters there, because even the title says it all. I mean, it says Dragon Ball Fighters Z, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. So I think they're going to emphasize on those. I mean, so far all the characters that they've taken that are on the game have been from Dragon Ball Z. We have not had any confirmation of Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball. Okay, just straight Dragon Ball Z. But they're doing a very good job of how they're handling this roster, though. Especially with Vegeta, because I did not know, what if I was to hear about the game and not see any footage, and I knew Vegeta was going to be on the game. I would be scared to think, okay, what version of Vegeta are they going to put on here? If they were only doing one version, which it seems to be the case, they're just doing one version of each character, and they're going to put everything they can into that character. And they took Vegeta, and you got Super Vegeta, my favorite version, and I mean, they're doing an exceptional job right now. So I have complete faith that they're going to continue this with the rest of the character development, and all of that is going to glide away quite smoothly. So I'm just anxious to see who else is going to make the cut, and especially the ones that we really don't know about. I mean, Piccolo, like Krillin probably is going to be there. Tien, maybe Yamcha, he's still a mystery. He might make it. I don't know. But characters like Master Roshi, characters like some of the super characters, because like I said, really technically Frieza is a super character because he goes golden. He doesn't do that until super. So that tells me that, they're going to probably implement a couple of those characters from Super. I mean, they have to. And I think Hit is going to make that cut because, like I said, he's one of the very, really popular ones. And then they might be Goku Black. I don't know about, I say that's a 50-50 on Goku Black. I give Hit a way bigger chance to make it than Goku Black. Just because he's similar to Goku, that's the only reason I say that. But who knows? I mean, Goku Black could make it. I don't know. And as far as the super characters, I mean, I think that they might implement maybe some of the other characters. They might put Frost on there. I mean, they could, but that's right now. That's highly unlikely. I think they're gonna pick the most unique characters, and they already have Frieza on there, so I don't see Frost making that cut. I mean, they're gonna go all different, different fighting styles, um, and right now like Hit and you know Krillin and Tien, and all those guys have different styles. So I mean, those guys are pretty much, I think, a shoe in. The next question is just like, who else is there that you can add? I mean, are you gonna go movies? You know what I mean? Could you go, so, Pecan or Pycon, however you want to pronounce it? Um, that he's not from a movie. Well, technically he is in the movie, but he's also in, what I'm saying, the tournament that Goku went to after he died or whatever. So I don't know, man. I mean, I really don't know. I'm just excited that that this game is even being made, first and foremost. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And then on top of that, it's probably going to be DLC because, I mean, that's the trend. Everybody's doing it. So there's a lot that can be done with this game. And like I said, I'm going to be covering it from now until beyond. So I'm not going to stop when the game comes out. That's when I'll just be getting started. Like I said, I'm a super Dragon Ball fan. That is the whole reason I started this podcast. And this is a game I've been waiting for forever. Okay, my whole life I've been waiting for this shit. Okay, and it's finally coming. Now, on another note, what I've been playing as of late, what I'm saying, is Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Matter of fact, I was playing some last night and I got completely lost in that game. And I forgot exactly how, well, no, I ain't gonna say. I forgot how good that game actually was. When that, keep in mind, this game came out on PlayStation 2, you know what I mean, so long ago, and still to this day holds up just phenomenally, man. Just the way that the engine worked and the way the fighting worked, everything it's one of the best 3D fighters, hands down. There's no other game I think that's gonna take Budokai Tenkaichi 3's place in my eyes. That's like my ultimate. That's my favorite Dragon Ball game all time. Now, when Dragon Ball Fighter Z comes out, you know what I mean, we're gonna have an issue. You know what I mean? Which one is gonna be first? Will they be tied for first? I mean, because they're technically different games. I mean, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was 3D, and it's it's different in a lot of ways, but it's gonna be up there. Trust me, it's gonna be up there with Budokai Tenkaichi 3, man. So. But I was just playing this game and last night, and I was like, it's so good, man. It is so good. The roster you just can't ask for a better roster. I mean, pretty much everybody in Dragon Ball, all the way up to Dragon Ball Z, is in this damn game. I'm telling you, it's just dope. And then really, what I really love about the game, even more so, is the production of the game, the world that they made, the world that they present to you in this game, as far as like the menus and how they have each character, different characters, presenting something different. Like if you go to certain shops, you have Launch in there, and then she's introducing you and telling you about the shop, and then they even have her sneezing and transferring and her personality switching up, and then you have, I mean, it's crazy dope. It's crazy dope. I mean, and then as far as like what we used to do back in the day, was we used to select a character, and my friend would select a character, and we would gamble on who would win out of this fight. And we wouldn't fight. We wouldn't control the characters. We'd have the computer versus computer mode. More games should have that. You know what I mean? Bring that back. That is so awesome, man, because you can have so much fun with that. And you even they had a replay mode. Then they had a mode where basically you can build your perfect fighter. You can grab, all the dopest power-ups and everything and make him as best as you possibly can. And then you can pit him up against, that code against anybody else. So say you had Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and I said, you know what? One of my favorite characters is Tien. All right. And I have a souped up version of him. And I want to see how you do against him. So here's the code. I give him a code that he generates on my game and give him the code. He puts the code in and then he fights my version of Tien Shinhan and sees to see if he can beat him or pit him up against his fighter, computer on computer. You can have so much fun with this. You know what I mean? You could do so many things with this game. And it gave me a lot of ideas for my YouTube channel as well, man. So I'm going to take those ideas and I'm going to run with it. And I'm going to have some fun. I mean, there's so much content out there. It's so good right now to be a Dragon Ball fan, guys. And I'm just proud to be one. And I'm ecstatic. I can't wait. There's so many things going on. I mean, you have Dragon Ball Fusions out there. You have Extreme Budokan out there, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. And then you have some of the oldies but goodies. You know what I mean? Raging Blast 2, which is another one of my top 5 Dragon Ball games. If you guys don't know, there's a DS game out by the name of Attack of the Saiyans, which is dope. It's an RPG surrounding Dragon Ball, and it takes place in the time where right before the Saiyans touch down. So it focuses on, some of the other lower tier characters like Krillin, Yamcha, Tien Shinhan, and Piccolo. Those guys, form a team and try to, get ready for the Saiyans to arrive. It's really good, man. And there are some dope hidden characters and stuff in there, Brawly and some other guys. Cool RPG, classic in my eyes. But I mean, there's no excuse if you're a Dragon Ball fan to not indulge in all of these things that are out there for us. You know what I mean? You can get it, you can access it. Whatever. Super is back and it's just as good as ever. Great episode. I don't even know what else to say about it. I think this is going to do it for this episode. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, you can always reach out to me at Studio MacGyver on Twitter. You can also reach me on my email, Studio MacGyver Music with a K at yahoo.com. I also have a podcast Facebook page. You can hit me at Studio MacGyver as well. Guys, just I just want to thank you guys for listening, and I'll be back next week, baby. So with that being said, this is Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.